The speed cameras. I've traveled this country so many times through every state, through every little town, and every school has a flashing light that says 20 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour during school hours. Now, we all know that these speed cameras here in Staten Island, the city, are money grabbers. But we were discussing safety, is what the commissioner brought up.
I want to welcome everybody. We're going to start. I apologize for being late. We've been going from one event to the other. So if everybody can just have a seat, please. Thank you. I want to acknowledge the Interfaith Community Council that's here. I know we have a bunch of folks here from that Interfaith Council, and I want to say thank you for being here. I know it's the end of the day, but we do want to get started, and I'm just waiting for a commissioner to come. Okay, thank you. And thank you again for being here in the effort to get everybody to sort of speak what they have to speak about, report your concerns. We're going to have 2 microphones on either side of the room, going from table to table, so we're going to limit each table to 2 questions. You guys can decide, but we also have cards at every table. Don't despair. We know of each and every one of your concerns, and we will circle back with you. I want to thank PD for being here. Thank you so much for being here. The Borough President, who's one of our greatest partners here. And I see a lot of folks from the civics and the community boards, corporate comedy. Thank you all for being here. This is really a great turnout. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our commissioner. Commissioner, do you want to say a few words? Thank you. Thank you.
Let's give Rosanna a big round of applause. And Eli, who is also our coordinator of the commission in Borough, Manor Road, we were here for her too. She is my deputy commissioner and I oversee all operation. And we will speak a little bit about what does involve. But before that, let's hear from the leaders of the law enforcement, and then from our great board commissioner, sorry. I think it is important that we all recognize that we are in the same boat. It's like the Matrix, the movies. It's a machine that keeps moving, and we need to protect the machine. And that machine is the city of New York. So let's hear again from first few words from our great Borough President, Bill, who is a great friend of Mayor Ydanis administration, a great supporter, Rosanna, and most important, someone that always stand up for the right of the Staten Island to be recognized, as is needed. It's essential in New York City. So let's hear with a big applause from a great friend.
Thank you very much, Commissioner. Good afternoon, everybody. I'll be very, very brief. I want to thank the Commissioner for being, he comes out on a regular basis. Every few months he pays a visit to Staten Island, and he's always accessible, and we appreciate that because we know how important transportation, the roads, and those things are important to the people of Staten Island. I want to thank the Borough Commissioner, Roe Caruana, not a more responsive person in government as well. But to all of you for coming out, it's important that we keep focused, raise the issues that are important to you. We try to be your voice as much as we can. And in particular, we see a great show of force here from the NYPD. Let's hear it for the job they do every single day.
The divider, unfortunately, burned and killed the occupants in the car. And the second was a DWI involved accident. In essence, so in last year in 2023, we wrote on Staten Island 25,000 plus summonses to drivers. Most of those were for what we call hazardous violations, the type of violations that cause car accidents. Almost 5,000 of them were for disobeying signs. Almost 4,000 of them were written to cars speeding, and about 3,000 of them were written to cars who had tinted windows. So we're doing a lot of work on that end when it comes to traffic enforcement. One of the issues I think a lot of people are seeing out there are people driving around what we call now called ghost cars. It's cars that have no plates on them, or paper plates that are just not real. And not all paper plates are fake. You know, many of the paper plates out there are registered, and there's people who are in the process of getting the cars registered. But this month alone, we did 4 initiatives on Staten Island where we wrote 112 moving violations to cars that were unregistered, that made 5 arrests for people who had plates that were fake. If you happen to catch the news, we did a nice program the other day. We had some of the news networks out going with us to do traffic enforcement, going after the ghost cars. We made some arrests. Some of the other issues I think people will complain about is the trailers or commercial trucks that park on our streets when they're not supposed to, in neighborhoods they're not supposed to. That's an ongoing issue for us. It's an ongoing issue for the entire city. We're involved in giving them summonses. We're involved in towing them off the streets. So it's a very ongoing thing we have going on now. Some of the 3 main spots we focus on, obviously, is Highland Boulevard. Obviously, Highland Boulevard is probably a primary way of getting back and forth across the island. It's our main corridor. We've written 6,400 summonses plus on Highland Boulevard alone, but it's also the scene of 3 of our fatal accidents. One being on Road and Highland Boulevard. That was a drunk driver crashed into a medium, killing his passenger. We had a motorcyclist killed on Nelson in Highland, and we had a pedestrian who was struck on Seaview in Highland. So we're constantly doing traffic education. We have our cops and our neighborhood coordination officers going to our local schools, educating the children. We're handing out flyers. You'll see them at the mall. You'll see them at some of our big intersections, hanging out flyers. We've done a lot of DWI enforcement this year. We've had approximately 125 DWI arrests last year, and about 1,100 summonses for people who drive without licenses. In our commercial trucks, I'm sorry, it was 110 commercial trucks that were seized last year parking on our streets. We will be here for the rest of the meeting. I think myself and Chief Galata, our managers here. We have to take the meeting at 6:30.
First Deputy Commissioner, everything that is on operation from DOT, you know, we have, I don't know, guess how many bridges you think we have in New York City? Anyone has any idea? Almost 600. And we don't go above 600, right? But beside the Verrazano or the interstate bridges, all the bridges in New York City, from Brooklyn Bridge, the East River, to Manhattans and Queens, and then you name it, and then those overpass. To you guys.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be out here on Staten Island today. We're very anxious to hear from all of you. We are here to serve the borough of Staten Island. We care, of course, very much about safety. We care about state of good repair. We care about our operations, whether it's a Staten Island ferry or anything else. Things we're happy to hear from you about. If you have locations that you think we need to take a look at to see how we can improve safety for vehicles, for pedestrians, for cyclists, for everybody, we want to hear from you about that. If you have locations that you believe we need to look at for paving, repair of concrete, we also would love to hear about that. Curbs. We, as the Commissioner mentioned, we take care of traffic signals, street lights, pavement markings, so we're open to all of your feedback today so we can consider continue serving the borough of Staten Island and making sure that we take good care of everybody. So pleasure to be here. Thank you all.
A $1.4 billion yearly operational expense and a $33 billion capital in a 10-year plan. So everything that we do in our ferry, we need NWB. Anything that we do for buy software, the paving of the street, we produce 50% of the asphalt, but we buy the other 50%.
Good afternoon. Good to be in Staten Island. New York City DOT is open for business. We're looking forward to meeting all the small businesses, and we have a lot of more opportunities. I have a couple of brochures there to give you a little bit of information about DOT and how to do business with DOT. And if you have any questions, I'm here to help you along the process. Thank you.
So there's some interaction that you will have, you know, with DOT. And you walk in the street, you are one of those 1 million New Yorkers that has some physical challenges, you want those intersections to be accessible. So that's also involved DOT. You drive in the street, you want the street to be reserved. That's also DOT. We have 44,000 intersections in the city of New York. So we also had to organize our intersection in a way that we have the proper signal, the stop sign, the speed bump. We are committed to improve the safety. We are one of the most complex transportation systems in the whole globe. We are only in the city of New York, is only composed by 350 square miles. So we had to give a space for those trucks that they had to bring the asphalt. For those construction that they also bring those materials and they're going to be building the next soccer field, any sport complex, Madison Square Garden, naming whatever you want. They need loading, unloading, so on. That's DOT. I said there's no any institution that they don't interact with the agency. And that's why for me it's a great honor to be here. Now as a commissioner, but before I used to be a council member for 12 years, before all the time being a member of the Transportation Committee, and the last year being a chairman of the committee. Before that, I was a teacher. So I also was in the classroom for 15 years. So I'm Tier 4. I did my 15 as a teacher, 2 as a council member, and now 2 as a commissioner. So I know what it is to also plan on the future as we go and enjoy the senior citizen community to be sure that our street is safe. There were so many individuals riding those cars, motorcycles that we lost in the street. And we want to educate those individuals for them to please slow down. There's 3 E that we do in order to accomplish our goal to make our street safer. One is the E or engineer. So we had a great planning team at DOT redesigning danger intersection. We don't want to wait for the crash and someone to die in order for us to go and redesign the street. So we are here ready to hear your concern, here ready to hear from you. Where do you see any intersection that you see a lot of speeding? Where do you see a need to do a speed bump? Where do you think that we should be, that we need to have put a new signal? So engineer is a key one. And of course, before moving to the next E, when it comes to the engineer, someone will say, can you put a signal in this intersection? So sometimes we are not able to install that signal immediately because in the way of how this nation is organized, in order for us to do a signal, we have to follow the federal standard. Then we need help from our Congress members and the senator to change some law at the national level for cities such as New York to decide where and how we install the signal, because in order for us to install a new signal, we have to follow the federal standard that we had to guide us on. So is it, again, that's the first is engineer. The second one is educational. So you will hear a message in the radio, the TV, the billboard, telling drivers, please slow down. I'm happy to know that we have like almost 40 religious leaders here. We need you, because when someone lost their life, they go and cry with you. You are the one that they go for asking for help. We need support because sometimes when we try to put some new tools in the street, sometimes we are pushed back. But we are not telling no one that they should not drive. What we're telling people is, please, when you drive, be careful. Look for pedestrians, look for cyclists, and most important also, think about yourself or your family. So again, DOT do engineering, we do educational, and we do enforcement. With Chief Rivera at the NYPD, they do a great job. Commissioner Caban, Chief Rivera and the rest of the team, you guys are helping us. We want to make the street safer for everyone, and we only will be able to accomplish by working together. I ended with this before we take the question.
Hi, we're going to go around the tables. As I said, we're going to take 2 questions. There are cards on every table, so please feel free to fill out your concern if we don't get to it. Okay.
They take one for it.
One per table, okay, great. So we're gonna start, we'll start over here. So if we can take a question from this table, Victoria's got a microphone.
How do I go about trying to get speed bumps near a senior center and senior development? Because they ignore the stop signs and they zoom up Scarborough. There's been accidents of little girls killed there. Myself, the other day, someone ran into me. Oh, I wasn't paying attention, I'm sorry, I just came out the side street. We need speed bumps there. These seniors are trying to get across with their walkers or their scooters, and these people do not stop at the stop sign at all.
So two things that I would say. One, immediately our team led by Roseanne, Victoria and Will, that will be following with you. And second is when it comes to the city center, we work close with the Commission of Aging Adults, Lorraine Cortez. And not only we are looking for speed bump, but also last year we released a report where we also are bringing other changes, improving safety around senior centers. So let's do that. Let's follow with the team led by Roseanne when it comes to the speed bump. And then also we will share with you all the things that we're doing, improving safety, not only around.
Over here, is there a question? Christine, anybody here?
You know, we talk a lot about the Staten Island area. You know, how many passengers do you carry a day now? Are there any records on that?
We will look for the exact number and then share that information with you. One thing is that we will look to the exact number, but what we know is that we are 70% back as we were before COVID. So New York City is coming back.
Thank you for riding the Staten Island ferry.
Go there and then we'll go to the middle, yeah. Victoria, anybody with a question on that table?
Yeah, there is a double yellow line in front of the temple building, and we have problem making a left turn for going in and out of the parking area. So there can be any provision that it can be a broken line so that people don't get tickets to make a left turn going out and going in.
Okay, I know where that location is, so we're going to take that information down and we'll send it over to our engineers to take a look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you for telling us. We'll go to this table. Hold on, let me just get Victoria over there. Okay, yes.
Thank you. Community activist Scott Loledo. Out of respect for the woman signing, I'm not going to curse today. The speed cameras. I've traveled this country so many times through every state, through every little town, and every school has a flashing light that says 20 miles an hour, 15 miles an hour during school hours. Now, we all know that these speed cameras here in Staten Island, the city, are money grabbers. But we were discussing safety, is what the commissioner brought up. And I see a major safety concern, which is, I've noticed, and I'm sure a lot of people have noticed, that when we all know where the cameras are now. There's hundreds of them, ridiculously, in places that are nowhere near schools. The issue is when people stop and slow down for these speed cameras, as soon as they pass the speed cameras, they double their speed, thereby ruining the whole point of the speed cameras being there. I see it all the time. Doing double, triple the speed because they know they're going to get to the speed camera and slow down and keep going. So please keep that in mind, figure that one out. And secondly, the speed bumps. The woman said it right there. I think there should be more speed bumps. But I don't understand these new speed bumps. If you notice, there's 2 lumps of asphalt where you could drive your car right over the speed bump, where your tires stay on the main road, defeating the purpose of the speed bump. To me, it's just 2 lumps of money. It's not safe. The safety issue is that I see not only people just going right over them, we all do, even small cars, but people go on the other side of the speed bump where they can still drive, coming so close to cars. I've had friends who's had their cars hit, and one day somebody's going to open a door and get killed. So these speed bumps are defeating the purpose. I don't know why they were even put there. It's a lump of wasted money to me. So please look into that. Thank you for your time.
Everything that we are doing. Again, like, you know, we always can, the money that is coming from a speed camera is coming back to Staten Island, is coming back to Brooklyn, Queens, Bronx, and Manhattan. We invest 3 times more than the money that is raised by a speed camera, improving intersections, making the streets safer. So I told everyone, like 25 is the speed limit. When a driver got the ticket, he or she was driving at 36. So the only way, the best thing that people gotta do is like go and maintain the speed limit. There's a different limit if you're driving the highway. There's other in the street. And again, no one wants to be involved in a crashes. The statistic is showing if you are at 25 and there's a pedestrian in front of you, you will have more time to stop because you will have more visibility. If you hit someone at that level of speed, the possibility that a person dying or ending in critical condition is much lower than a driver who is at 36. So, you know, this is like, we always, and I get it, we always have different opinion. I don't pretend that, yeah, I'm gonna be winning this conversation, but I just want to share with you, like, you know, why we are using the automatic enforcement, why are we relying on the NYPD, Chief Rivera and the whole team, they're doing a great job. You know, it's because we are committed to keep the streets safer. When it comes to the other question that people,
Yes, so you pointed out a situation where the design of the speed hump, you were questioning how useful is that if any tire can sort of hit the main pavement. So in recent years, we were hearing more and more from people that they wanted to be able to put speed humps on bus routes. Previously, we were not able to put them on bus routes because we didn't want to impede the bus movement. So we designed something we call a speed cushion, which can allow the tires of a bus to pass through, but on a passenger vehicle, they're not in the same tracks. So if you have a location, I'm more than happy to look at it, see if anything was an error installing that, and if anything, we'll adjust it, but it should only be at most one set of tires on one side of a vehicle, which still, we've all done that one way or the other, and still you can't, as a passenger vehicle, run over that if 2 of your tires are up and 2 are down. So we think they're still effective, but if you have a location you'd like us to look at, we can look at it. And then, Commissioner, I just have the answer to your question about the ridership on the ferry. In 2023, we had 15.7 million passengers, and pre-pandemic, we had about 22 million passengers. But we're going up little by little. We're actually seeing something interesting. We're seeing more ridership now on the weekends, and we're continuing to rise, and we'll get back to our pre-pandemic levels, I'm sure of it.
Thank you for that. I think we're over to this table over here. Please stand up. Hearing better?
All right. Thank you very much. Being one of the workers from Amazon at Gulf Street, workers suffer a lot because of lack of transportation. So we have roughly over 6,000 workers in JFK Gate, and most of the time the buses don't come on time, and they're also very limited. So as a result, you see people coming from the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, they are stuck. So I just hope that the DOT could look for a solution to that situation. And the other last thing here, I think it would be a good idea to construct, if it's possible, a bridge from Staten Island ferry to Whitehall to really, reduce the waiting and also traffic. I think that could help. And the train that works in Staten Island is very slow. A lot of people think that it could be better to be faster. Thank you.
Thank you. We've done a lot of work around the Amazon facility. I know that. I don't know, is Melissa here? Or anybody here from the MTA? Oh, there she is. Do you want to address that question, Melissa, about the buses?
Sure, and I can also speak with you after. Hi, everybody. I'm Melissa Farley from MTA Government and Community Relations, and I'm the liaison for Staten Island and New York City Transit. So, sir, I understand your complaint about the S40, S90 service. We can speak after that. We have been trying to keep up with the increase in employees at Amazon and with our schedules, and as you know, those routes are long routes from the ferry all the way out to Gulf. So we encounter a lot of different also traffic intrusion sometimes or something like that. So I'll speak with you after some more information about when you're experiencing slow trains. They're every 15 minutes during the rush periods and then every half an hour to meet the boats, all the rest of the time and on weekends. But during these past couple of months, we have had slow speeds because of what we call slippery rails. So when the leaves fall down or the tracks get icy, we have to slow the speed so the trains aren't sliding into the station, and that's for passenger safety. But we can speak more after the meeting, and I'll also take your concerns back to our staff.
And for the purpose of everyone, also, the importance to work together with DOT and the MTA is that sometimes, and this is what I try to do now as a commissioner, for New Yorkers to know later what is that we do, what are we responsible for in everything. Because sometimes we take things for granted, we don't know who is responsible for X and Y. So when it comes to the buses, like we work in partnership very close with MTA, we build the bus lane, we build the shelters. But the MTA, is the one that do the scheduling. So I always say, it's like if I would be asked a question for anyone, Commissioner, can you run the agency with the $1.4 billion that you have? The answer is yes, but I always welcome more money. So it is important also that anyone here speak to your legislator, because as much money the MTA may have, and I'm not speaking for them, but also they always can increase more the numbers of drivers and have more buses running more often. So, but this is a partnership between DOT and the MTA. So we post the infrastructure, but they also are the one who run the scheduling and the buses that are needed to have the service. And yeah.
I think we're at, did we do that table? I'm sorry, sure.
Okay, my name is Mohammed Barrow. I'm an immigrant on Staten Island and I've been living here for 50 years. Okay, I have some observation that I would like to put your attention on it. Because, okay, first of all, the metro card, it's expensive. And to have $2, $3, $4 coins to put in there is too much. So I would advise the Department of Transportation to have a more metro card machine throughout the borough office. I know this will happen. I will give you little observation that I see, because I went to the bus, I went to the boat to look at what's going on. Okay, first of all, inside Staten Island Ferry, orientation, direction panels are disappearing. When we fix it, it was beautiful. At least we can see the sign, the time, and all the stuff. It burn out, the light burn out. But maybe that's some kind of maintenance that DOT should do the homework about that. Okay, and plus, when you get inside the bus, I don't know what's going on, but I got to tell you, people don't pay the bus those days. Okay, and before, when I say before, maybe not your time, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, on Staten Island or throughout the borough, the student left their card, student card, to get inside the bus. They don't have that no more. Why? And I sit down, I look at it, I can tell you 90-95% of the people who get inside the bus, they don't pay. Why?
So thank you for Let me answer this question, is to move to the other table too. So with the buses, like definitely as we said, this is between DOT and MTA that we work together. You know, with David Richards, who is the new person, the president of the New York City Transit. He's committed, you know, on a lot of things that we gotta do to be sure that whoever get into the bus, they need to pay the fare. We also want to, and especially all the leaders, especially the interfaith, I know that you've been helping us, and we also need more help in order for us to share that information with the constituency, that they go to all the institutions for them to know that New York City, we have a fair fare, where there's a 50% discount on New Yorkers that cannot afford to pay the fare. So this is something that we established, myself together, when I was a council member, together with Speaker Corey Johnson, and from day on, Mayor Adams even increased more resources so that all New Yorkers who rely on food stamp, or they are living in working class community, they all have a 50% discount when they have to pay for the fare. So we are working hard, one, to provide resources to those who cannot afford. Second, we, Richard Davis and the New York City Transit MTA, we know that we need to stop those individuals that they get into the bus without paying. So this is the work that we are doing.
Okay, that's something. I'll go first. Like I said, the maintenance problem on Staten Island side, St. George, that's a problem. And in Manhattan side, I look at it, obviously, it's not comfortable at all. And also it's dirty. Look at the seating there. It's unbelievable. Take a look at it. For instance, even on the Times Square bus station or at the airport, when people come, there's a lot of people, working people. They come, they're tired. And I don't know if Mr. Commissioner, you have seen it in there, but it's rock. You have to see it on the rock over there. And it's dirty. Okay, people who cannot afford anything, you know, there's a lot of people dirty who are sitting everywhere. Okay, that's another story. So you got to look into that. All right. And if I finish that,
Can I ask you, because in the interest of time, would you be able to speak to one of my staff people, and you could yeah.
If you wanted to, because
you're right here. And then also, I want to also mention that we have Melissa here again. She handles the buses and a lot of the concerns that you mentioned.
Okay.
She can talk to you about, especially you mentioned about the MetroCard machine. Okay. I think we're gonna just come back to you. Well, okay. You have. Okay, why don't you just say why don't you just come on up? Yeah.
Hi, this is actually, hi, this is actually not a question, but actually a comment. I'm a member of the St. George Civic Association.
Yes.
And the association actually would like to let the commissioner know that Borough Commissioner Roseanne Karuna and her team has done such a great job.
Thank you.
Acknowledging all of the issues that we have in the St. George area. And we also want to give a little also attention to Anne-Marie, who's been also wonderful helping us out as well. So we want to give her a little invitation.
I'm glad you took your question.
I actually wrote it down, so no problem.
I'm so glad. We're going to go to, I see, we're going to go to the middle table. I think we'll come back to you.
I have the mic. I'm not letting go.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So, I'm sorry. So I have 9 questions. No, I'm kidding. I have 1 question and 1 observation. So my first question, Roseanne, and to the commissioners, I want to acknowledge that DOT, through the cooperation with our former Borough President, Jim Ydanis, got us the fast ferry in St. George, which goes to Vesey and then 39th Street, which was a game changer for the North Shore. But I'd like to identify, I'm former president of the Builders Association. I'm a home builder, developer. We are constantly struggling to find employees to work on our job sites because we're an island, right? We have 500,000 people, but we're an island. And we have a roadblock between South Brooklyn and us, which is the VZ, the Verrazano Bridge, which is, for some people, $22 a day round trip. So to try and coerce a construction worker to come work for me on Staten Island from South Brooklyn is very, very hard. But it could easily be solved by taking that fast ferry and taking it to either Bay Ridge or to Sunset Park for $4 each way. And we've, as the Builders Association, we've hired a surveyor to realize that it would be a 12-minute trip from either Sunset Park to St. George or Bay Ridge to St. George. 12 minutes. And we have 2 private high schools in Bay Ridge, right on Shore Road, that would also enjoy that benefit. But there are 500,000 people in South Brooklyn, which is the same population as Staten Island. I gotta think there are people that are living in South Brooklyn that would come work for me if they could get here for $4. Now, I know Christine from the Hilton Group, or the Coach Group is here. They already have a van that picks people up from the ferry. I can guarantee you, I have trades and even builders, if not our association, that would rent another van and pick people up and drop them off on job sites and then bring them back at the end of the day, knowing that you had a good employee for $4 round, well, I should say $8 round trip to Brooklyn. It's a no-brainer. The boats, we have them already. So really need to look at a Bay Ridge or Sunset Park stop for that fast ferry. The other observation, I don't know that this is your purview, but my daughter went to Stony Brook for 4 years, so I took the Lorna Expressway for 4.5 years. It's 2 people in an HOV lane, 2. We do 3 here. It makes no sense. As we get older, we all know we make less friends, not more. So if you could just let people get in the HOV lane with 2 people, we're already letting motorcycles and electric cars in. Just let me in with my wife and it'll all be good. It'll all be good. Just something to think about.
Okay, on the first one, I will pass the second one to Roseanne. Look, if you will go to the DOT website, you will see that the mission that has been given to DOT is to be responsible to manage our street, which is composed, we are responsible to manage 27% of New York City street is on the DOT. And therefore, we need to always work with our planner to organize our street in a way that we move people and goods. So more than happy again to follow the suggestion with our team at DOT.
The Long Island Expressway, the HOV lane is run by the state DOT. So I can after the meeting, I could connect you with the person that you should be reaching out to. And I would be happy to be part of that conversation. But again, it's not in our purview, it's city DOT, it's the state DOT that handles that. So that would be the best way to go about that, okay? Great. Yeah, it's DOT, but it's the state, but we'll be happy, I'm happy to just pass you over to them. We'll be happy to connect you with the right person over there. And then we have our next table behind you, Priscilla. Hi, Priscilla.
Hi. On behalf of the Staten Island Business Outreach Center, can Castleton Avenue from the hospital to about Jewett Avenue get better street lighting? And then my second question would be really quick. Can we get a walkthrough with DOT along Forest Avenue between Jewett Avenue to the expressway? Because that's a bottleneck. People try to cross the street. It's very dangerous for a pedestrian.
Yes, and Priscilla, you know that we did that walkthrough. I did that walkthrough with BID.
No, I know you
in the spring.
and I thank you for what you
No, and I'm saying I'd be happy.
over there.
Yeah, I'll be happy to come back out again and do that. So we'll be happy to do that. And as far as the street lighting, Amory's going to take down that information and we'll put that into our street lighting team to do a study along that stretch. Okay? Thank you, Priscilla. Yes, we're going to go. Okay, we got Victoria. Go ahead, next table.
Good afternoon. My name is Joseph McAllister, President with the South Beach Civic Association. We have a very serious issue with Mason Avenue, Staten Island University Hospital. The abundance of traffic that's been driving through that area due to the expansion and expanding of Staten Island University Hospital. Will the police address opening up Mason Avenue from Delaware Avenue to Benton Avenue? Please look into that, and we appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And I know that this is something that you've been advocating for. We are doing a bunch of, I'm very excited to say we're doing a lot of safety improvement. We're doing a big safety improvement project on Seaview Avenue, the hospital reached out to us about a year and a half ago and talk about some of the conditions. We have the hospital on one side, the physician's offices on the other side of the street, and a lot of mid-block crossing. So we're looking at mid-block crossing, we're looking at narrowing the road, putting a road diet in, and we're working with a Borough President, I guess had to leave, but we're working with partners with the Borough President, and also this is where our project team works. They went out there to look at Seaview Avenue, and they saw Mason and said, we need to include Mason in the project. So Mason Avenue will be getting some safety treatments. We're going to be looking at removing the 90-degree parking, the angle parking, putting some painted medians in, putting some parking along the medians. Mason Avenue is a roadway that is like a speedway. It's wide, it's uncontrolled, and cars are flying all over the place. We're going to stop that. So you have my word that when we're done with this project, you're going to be thanking us because it's going to be much safer. Mason will be safer, and Seaview will be safer. That I can commit to. That, you have my promise for that. Next table, Will, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Commissioner, for being here today. My name is Michelle Molina, and I'm from El Centro de Inmigrante, and I'm here with some of our fellow workers. Some of the concerns were actually in regards to the busing transportation, but we will address that in the table next to us. One of the concerns are the safety in regards to some of the areas where the bus stops are. And I can't Google right now exactly the address, but if you make a right out of the JCC and you go all the way down the road, there is a tiny little patch of dirt in between the road and the forest, because it's literally the forest behind you. And it is dangerous, it's scary, it's dark at night, and you literally can't see anything. And it's not the only area here on the island. Some of the workers that are here with us today have concern as well of other locations where they're not safe conditions.
I'm going to just answer that. So is this on Forest Avenue you're talking about?
So specifically, the one that I'm talking about right now, it's as soon as you make a right here at
This
JCC,
JCC?
that's one,
Okay,
correct.
gotcha.
You just drive down the road, and the first light, you make a right. That's right.
Yeah, so we're going to look at that. We're going to have to work with the state on that. I know that that's state property, but I do want to mention one thing that we did to make it safer. We have a speed hump that we installed right outside of this facility. And I don't know if is anybody here from Susan Wagner High School ever going to come? Oh, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you. So we had a lot of concerns about the kids, coming out of the school. There was a lot of speeding going on. So we put the one speed hump here, but we're looking at, putting additional ones in. So I'll be happy to hear from you after the meeting about other issues yeah, for sure. Okay.
Additional one more, there's an address of 355 Victory Boulevard as well.
And I want to say, beside Rosanne and the team that will be following with you, but I also would like to say thank you for coming together with the members of the center. Thank you to Yesenia for La Colmena. Thank you to also Reverend Terry Troy also for knowing with the community. We have to think about our future. Sometimes it takes for a natural disaster to hit our cities for people to still solve us. We are only one family. And we don't need to deal with another Sandy, Maria, Katrina, in order for us to understand at the beginning of the 20th century, Irish were discriminated as Latino being discriminated. Jews were discriminated as Irish were discriminated. Chinese and Asian were discriminated as the Jews and others. So one of the things that we can say that define our great city is the level of resilience. Yes, we are in the middle of a big debate. We are going through a tough time this day around, but it's only a matter of time. That's why when someone comes to me and can say, as soon as I hear the accent, it's about, why are you from Cuba, Puerto Rico, and DR? And my answer is, in my family, there's already 3 generations of Dominican American being born and raised here. And anyone that came here, unless you are a Native American, there was someone that came here. And as soon as we started having those conversations, someone came to me and say, I'm very proud to be Italian, but my great-grandfather came here without speaking the language. My family came from Europe, and they leave discrimination back there. So regardless on, again, political agenda, the political party that we are affiliated, if there's one thing that we always have to celebrate, is that this city has been built by men and women that in the last few centuries, we have turned New York City what it is. So I want to appreciate again the work that you're doing in supporting those immigrants, because guys, whoever is a new immigrant can be the doctor that in the future can be curing us. Whoever sees the new immigrant will be having a child that will be an engineer building. Whoever sees the son of those new immigrants can be the police officer, that can be the commissioner too. So I just want again to highlight it. And I say because all the are 10th generation born and raised here. I was born and raised in Kenya at the age of 18. And only New York City is a place that someone that came to wash dishes at the age of 18, that my second job was doing sandwiches at 55 Water Street, by putting myself through college, working hard, becoming a teacher, becoming a council member. Now I have the privilege under this administration to lead this great Department of Transportation. So, I just wanted to say thank you to the work that you're doing, and thank you to all of us also for what you're doing.
I'm sorry, do we have a table over here, Victoria? Does she have a mic? Yes, I have Kiko Charles, Maryland's Harbor Resident Association, Staten Island District Council President. I met your commissioner last Thursday on a meeting. I just want to make a few statements. There was a conversation pertaining to physical challenge. So under physical challenge, I put down speed bumps, intersections, signal lights, caution light, and then I asked a question, when can your team resend the van which observes the flow of traffic? That's in conjunction with the gentleman in the blue shirt who made a conversation about cars driving, slowing down when it comes time to seeing the signal, the traffic light, and then speeding up once again. To my understanding, the last ban that was sent here was around 2022, and I think that we need to send it again in various areas. Not only safety for seniors, there was a conversation about safety for seniors. So I want to state that we not only need safety for seniors, which I am one in my 70s, so I am a senior, but for all residents of the city, including public housing developments. The reason I say public housing developments is because, as I said to you last Thursday, we are in need of a speed bump. If there's a new design, then we're in need of that new design. We have children that are in the area that are going to school, and we need to have safety for them crossing the streets, leaving their homes, and trying to get to their schools. We need to have some type of signal light, or we need to have a flashing stop sign so that the pedestrians can safely cross the street. I'm going to veer off and say, this gentleman spoke about the 40 bus with Amazon. Maybe DOT can assign 4 to 5 buses that will pick up their workers from the ferry and drive direct to Amazon. Maybe that would save some time. And in terms of the train, all this money that's being spent in Manhattan for the extension of 2nd Avenue train and so on, we need to have some type of adjacent for our train system here. We only have 2 tracks. We need to have better safety, and we need to have better security, and we need to have better traffic care on Staten Island. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And we will follow, Miss, we will follow our team here. And before I leave, also I go and speak to you and see how we can take some of your suggestions.
Like Dominican. I had a question.
By the way, some people been there in the yard, right? Punta Cana, Casa de Campo, Puerto Plata, right? So, but we more than those places.
I have a question. I see there is a traffic light in Richmond Avenue next to the fire department by Graniteville. That traffic light to prevent accident is something I don't understand. Because when the light turns into green, some black lines cross and the green light and the yellow light linking. I can see a lot of drivers when they are in the back, they confused if they have to stop or go forward. And really I think it's danger over there. Every time I go that way, I feel very worried about the driver behind. That's it.
Thank you. And what we would do is that, again, we would follow in that particular intersection. On closing, because I was told, since I was a council member, politician, we talk a lot. So I've been advised to always it's better to finish the meeting with everyone present, and I think that we ask good questions and a lot of suggestions. We will be more than happy to follow up with you. Look, we are in the great city of New York, and we have a great mayor that is doing the best he can to bring the city back. And I'm gonna say, starting with the NYPD, you know, you have seen me in the past. I have been the guy that have been involved in some peaceful disobedience. You know, I have been marching in the street, but I have 2 daughters. And I know that our streets are safe because we rely on the men and women on the NYPD. So let's give the men and women in NYPD a big round of applause for the job that they're doing. And safety for Mayor Adams and Commissioner Caban is more than gun violence. It's about traffic violence. So together we are committed to continue making the city of New York the safest city in the United States. So again, this is not only one-stop conversation. This is only a continuation of previous one. As I will be back 5 months from now, and in the middle of those 5 months, Rosanne and the whole team, they are here working with all of you. We just want to be sure that we make our street safer for everyone. So thank you for being here, and we will take any other question as we will spend a few more minutes to talk to you individually. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.